Major changes to Rise of Kingdoms are coming, including changes to crystal tech and immigration. And this is going to have a big effect on a lot of us. And in this video, I'm going to talk about them, so stick around. What's up, everybody? Psych out here with another Rise of Kingdoms video. Out of nowhere this evening, the developers just announced major changes that are coming to Rise of Kingdoms in March in about a month. That's about 45 days from now. We should see these changes go into effect based on the timeline they gave us. And mostly these changes are about the way you acquire crystals in the Season of Conquest, which is something they have gotten a lot of feedback about over the last year or so. And major changes to immigration rules, which is another thing many players have complained about. So I think these changes have the potential to be super exciting, super invigorating for the game, super balancing for both free-to-play and sort of more spender players. So let's take a look at them. I'm not going to read each of them. I've read through this once. But I sort of want to summarize what these things look like they might be. Of course, we'll have to see when they come into effect how they actually play out. But let's just sort of guess and see how they look like they're going to go. So the first one talks about changes to crystal acquisition. The Trial of the Karak, I believe, I'm not exactly sure what this is. I don't think this is Karak ceremony, but maybe this is that, I don't even think it's the thing that you can call, but in any case, there's some other way to gain crystals, season coins, through some kind of event. So maybe it says this is a new event. So some new event is coming to the Season of Conquest where you can gain season coins and crystals, something everybody wants. They said they're discounting and they're making the price cheaper for legendary commander sculptures, equipment materials, choice chests in the season shop. So that sounds really interesting as well. There's also something coming where you can give and receive crystals. Giving crystals seems really weird. Usually people want a lot of crystals, but maybe there's some mega whales who have tons and tons of extra crystals and they can give them to lower spend or free-to-play players. So maybe that's pretty cool. And as a result, they'll get some speed ups. So maybe there's some players who like that. I think most people really need all their crystals, but maybe maybe big whales end up with lots of crystals at the end. So this would be a nice incentive for them to give them to get some speed ups in return. It also suggests there's some new sort of crystal quest. I'm not sure if this is the same crystal quest up here. I think it looks like it's something different, which kind of makes me think it's like a Lucerne Scrolls. I don't know if there'll be sort of a pay level and a non-pay level, but it looks like there'll be some other ways to gain crystals, possibly even for free, which again, I think free-to-play players are going to be super excited about. Giving season crystals these crystals in the Eve of the Crusade events or pre-KVK events, which maybe means Marauders will be dropping crystals. Maybe it means, depending on if you complete the tasks in pre-KVK, like if you defeat enough of the Marauder forwards, if you kill enough Marauders and get enough of those satchels turned in, maybe you'll get some number of crystals. Again, I think this is super exciting for free to play. And in fact, I think a lot of people had figured out there's really no value in killing Marauders, particularly since they had been nerfed. And then you're going to go to Season of Conquest where you need that AP to kill barbs, to kill barb forts, to get those crystals so that you can level up your Season of Conquest tech. Now there might be an incentive to kill those Marauders again using your AP, which would be kind of interesting. It says rewards have been changed. Well, obviously we don't know what that's going to look like. They fine-tuned the buzz for crystal technologies. Who knows what that's going to mean? We'll check that out when that comes in. Reducing the difficulty of killing some of the higher level barbs, I think is nice, especially early on. You really do have to level up some of that barb killing tech to kill those high level barbs and to get those crystals. So that might be a nice benefit, again, particularly for free to play or low spend players. And finally, the extra crystals at the end, instead of converting any of your extra crystals into gold, they'll be turned into season coins, which seems like maybe it's a pretty nice trade-off instead. So that sounds really game-changing from a crystal technology standpoint. To me, it sounds really free-to-play friendly. I mean, we'll have to see when it actually comes out. I'm a little concerned that some of these quests might be, there's a pay level and then they just get a bigger boost, and so it doesn't really close the gap between free-to-play and pay-to-win. But the fact that free-to-play players might actually be able to advance down the crystal tech tree is really intriguing. And when we pair that with these new immigration rules, so look, one of the reasons so many, and by the way, I think this is so funny, we've discovered that a number of governors have been using the immigration feature. Really? you discovered that a number of governors have been using the immigration feature, to get out of crystal technology, to go play KVK2, go play KVK3 again, where they don't have to be so outmatched by people who are spending, or feel compelled and forced to spend on that crystal technology. So by reducing the cost of getting those crystals, or perhaps making more crystals available, perhaps it will mean that more free-to-play, low-spin players stay in the Season of Conquest longer, and don't migrate back. And that's going to be important because they're really changing the migration rules. And in particular, it mentions that there's 3 different types of migration now. There's the cross-season migration. That would be going from the Season of Conquest to a non-Season of Conquest. That would be KVK2, KVK3 kind of situation. So that's one kind. The other kind is same season. So that's migrating within the Season of Conquest, or migrating within a KVK2 or KVK3 kind of season. And then there's same region immigration, which is really, I think, mostly for early kingdom kind of stuff. I always refer to them as continents. Apparently they're supposed to be regions. I don't know. But those are the 8 kingdoms that you start with right at the beginning. The very first KVK that you have are with those 8 kingdoms in your region. And so apparently there's going to be some rules about how you can migrate on that as well. So let's jump into cross-season migration. And this is the one they're talking about, where people were really, lots of people, look, I did it. When I was in KVK2 and KVK3, we brought in people to our kingdom. Our opponent kingdoms had brought in people. When I was in KVK3, we had to fight against Guan and Zenobia, and none of us were even close to having a Guan and Zenobia, so it was really frustrating. So then, of course, we went back and did it. When we went back and did it, Guan and Zenobia weren't allowed anymore into KVK3, but we did have Alexander the Great, for example, in KVK2, and our opponents didn't. So it was really bad, and I've had some videos talking about that. I'll try to put a card at the top where I talk about KVK2 and the sort of the advantage that I had in terms of the commanders that I was bringing with me to KVK2. So that's one problem, and that's really the big issue here, is that these older players can come back with maxed out commanders that other people haven't even had access to yet, and just completely crush those people. And it's not fun if you're a brand new player and you're like, oh, well, this is my first K, well, not your first KVK, but my second KVK, and you're just getting smashed by these people with monster accounts who have all of these commanders maxed, way better gear and equipment than you. This seems like a must need to change. So what they've done is they've reduced the number who can migrate to those kingdoms, right? To come from a Season of Conquest to a Season 2 or Season 3 of Lost Kingdom, to 30 per season. So each kingdom can only bring in 30 players. You can't just bring in a mass horde of people to dominate that. So I think that's really nice. It doesn't completely eliminate the problem. Of course, some players will still be able to come in and bring in big accounts. So there'll still be some players with those big accounts, but it really limits the number, which I think is really good. There's some specifications about how that's going to be done, and I won't get into those here. There's also the same season migration. So this is between Season 2 and Season 3, or after Season 1, you can migrate to a different Season 2, as long as that's not 90 days, as long as your account isn't 90 days older than the kingdom that you're going to. So you can't have such a big individual advantage as a player. So I think that's really nice. And it doesn't seem like there's any limits for the number of people who can do that, which again, I think that makes a lot of sense. So as long as you're not too far, too old of an account, they're going to allow you to move between those kingdoms for KVK 2 and 3. And then this immigration start time, season immigration and cross season. Okay, so those begin once you start the next stage. So once I think that what that means is once you finish KVK 2, you are in the KVK 3. Once you finish KVK 1, you're in the KVK 2 off season. Your migration can begin. I think that's what that means there. All subsequent migration will begin one day after Lost Kingdom ends. Yeah. So that's what it is. So after the Lost Kingdom ends, then the migration opens up. Okay. It also talks about some changes for Rising Kingdoms and Imperium Kingdoms. I think these are pretty similar to what we've seen before, but I'm not exactly sure. And apparently I've received a supply box. That's just fantastic news. Thank you for doing that. And so, yeah, I think these are very similar to what it was before, that there's sort of power limits on how many you can migrate. You can use special immigrations. If people go above that power limit, you only get so many of those. That's to avoid hoarding all of the high power players all in the same kingdom. So I think that they've also added an immigration scheduling feature, which sounds really huge. One of the most annoying things is you can only bring in, they made some rules changes a while back that were necessary because of the way people were coming in and taking over kingdoms. Boy, all of my gatherers are coming back. That's very pleasant. And so what's going on here when they've added this migration scheduling feature is because you had to wait 1 minute. You can only bring in 1 immigrant per minute. It was very annoying. You had to sit there online, hope you can get in, hope you can get in, hope you can get in. I hope to sit there online, hope you can get in. And just sort of always scheduling this, over Discord. And so maybe this feature is going to be really good. So that will be nice. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it won't be as efficient as I think it could be, but we'll see how it works, because it kind of says that you'll be notified when it's possible to migrate, but I'm not exactly sure if that's a personal scheduler or not. So anyway, doesn't affect beginners teleports. Okay, so these changes are supposed to come on in mid-March. That sounds pretty cool. It also says that governors who migrate, it says governors considering immigration to immigrating good time. So I guess if you migrate before these changes take place, you get a new world bundle, which I don't remember how many passports total that comes with. Maybe like 15 or something. Maybe it's more, maybe it's 20, something like that. Am I going to get a new world bundle? I migrated, a while ago. I doubt it. I suspect it's between the time of this email and when these changes go into effect. So I probably won't get one, though. I would really like a new world bundle. Getting those passports for free would be really nice, but we'll see what actually happens with that. As it says here, these are significant changes. We'll be posting detailed diagrams and explanations. So we'll be on the lookout for those diagrams and explanations telling us exactly how this is going to work, because there is quite a bit of complexity here, and I don't think we really can get it all in an email. So hopefully there'll be more information soon, but this is super exciting. I think it's going to I hope, it looks to me like this is going to make the game, particularly the late game, the Season of Conquest game, a lot more pleasant for free-to-play and low spenders, which is really something everyone was looking forward to. Look, if you like this video, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment down below. If you think I've said something wrong, or if you think, hey, this is how I think it works, let me know down below, and I'll get back to you. Thanks so much, everybody, and bye-bye.